All right, let's roll.
Hey everyone, this is Marty, the founder of the Legends International team. I'm so excited that you're joining us today for another great global team call. You will not want to miss this. Get your pens, get your paper, and all of your electronic media to take some great notes. Adam is in the house ready to blow this up. And I'm going to tell you, when you talk about his numbers and what he's done and his resilience to overcoming adversity and growing a business, it is amazing. So with that, I'm going to introduce my good friend to kick things off, our president and CEO, Mr. Jason P. Jordan.
Thanks a lot, Marty. Super excited about today's call. It is the 28th of November, 2023. We're operating in 13 of the 24 country footprint of EXP. Almost 90,000 agents globally now. I'm just waiting for the announcement any day. Here is what we're going to cover today. Based upon Adam's time, he's very busy and he's had some challenges today, but he's good. We're going to talk to him in a moment here. I'm going to give him proper introduction, and he's going to talk about how he got started in real estate. Why did he join EXP Realty? And what does he think the future of EXP Realty is in the United States and around the world? Then I'm going to talk a little bit about some events, company news, and updates. And then if Adam has time, we'll come back and we'll talk about how Adam went from a $52 a month revenue share check to over $100,000 a month in 36 months. That's incredible, right? So stick around. We're going to learn a ton and have some fun, as my business partner likes to say. So let me start by introducing our guest speaker today. So Adam Bailey from Wichita, Kansas, right? And so from this boy who grew up in Omaha, right? Wichita is even smaller than Omaha, right? And if he can have a team that has done over $1 billion in volume in 10 years, check this out, 5,800 homes sold, right? He has scaled an elite sales team with ownership. He's built a traditional team, open expansion offices, a modern team building system, inside sales, real estate coaching program, a former partner of a top 10 ranked independent team brokerage, listed by Wall Street Journal, Inc. 5000, and the #1 in Kansas. And he sold equity in 5 offices. Today, he's current owner of a top global modern team of over 2,400 plus agents, partners, and team leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, let me get him all pinned up here so we get this recording all set properly. So let me here. Adam, my friend, hey, thank you so much for being here, man. Welcome to the call.
What's going on in the world today? What's up, Jason?
Well, hey, it was so awesome to meet you in Las Vegas at EXPCon 2023. And this is the thing that I always tell people is like, especially in Vegas, like don't ever go to bed early. You just never know who you're going to meet, right? And I have to tell you, everybody on this call, I shared out your talk that you did at Cabo 23. And I said, this dude, I've never seen one person ever stand on stage for the small amount of time and run through so much information with so much energy and excitement, right? I had to go back and watch that thing at least 10 times because I was like, dude, you were spitting so much value. It was amazing, right? And I just had to keep going back and back and over and over and over. So welcome to the call. Tell us a little bit, Adam, from Wichita, Kansas, right? How did you get started in real estate?
Yeah. Man, dude, that's a beautiful introduction. I wish you ran all my calls, brother. I love that. That's an interesting question, man. It was actually during the last recession, and when everybody was getting out of it, I had gotten into it with a guy that changed my life, Gerbic. I was part of the 5,800 homes when I was there. He sold a lot more than that. Started out as an ISA with him, setting appointments. ISA is an inside sales client care resource person that helps tee up listing appointments and buyer appointments for the outside sales team, which is the traditional agent. And then, I went on to build our call center with him. And then I got my license 2009, 2010, around in there. Went on to sell 24 houses. The next year, 40 houses. Continued to build the call center, then moved into a leadership role, team lead role. Then got some sweat equity built into the company because wild predictions I made that, you know, became true, like 380 some closings or 392 to, you know, right under 700, 688. You know, and so I basically, you know, started open expansion offices and working on the business instead of in the business, focused on people, processes, systems. You know, and we went on to open, I think, 4 or 5 expansion offices, total offices, and then start a coaching company through experiential learning, where you know, I picked that up with Tony Robbins, you know, how to basically leverage our call center to show other people what we were doing, driving revenue, keeping the main thing. Out of Wichita, Kansas, we were doing around about 1,000 houses a year. You know, from 2012 to 2017, we were ranked 9th to 12th in the nation, bouncing around in those spots, you know, under my helm with Gerbic in the background coaching me. But we had a lot of great leaders, like a lot of good veterans. We had a solid group. You know, Gerbic had the foundation there, and I would just say I was ignorance on fire, just like I am playing at a new level with new adults in the international game.
Yeah. So were you in sales before you got into real estate? Because Adam, I always looked at you as like, man, this dude is really young to be having this much success already, right? So were you in sales?
Yeah, you know, yeah, like everybody says that. You know, I just got a CA Corvette. I needed to you know, you spend some money, you know, on myself. Like we all go through stuff, right? And take some time off, and I'm coming back. But I always get that. Somebody was like, "Is that your dad's Corvette or whatever?" Like I'm like, "No, man." Like, and so I've always done well for my age bracket, but I attribute that to good mentors and leadership, and I always haven't been like that. You know, I've came from very humble beginnings. I've came from poverty. You know, and I had a guy that took a chance on me. He seen me on the phone, and I put in the effort, and I woke up and I had a good work ethic. You know, just good integrity in the business, and I kept my word with everything that I said. And so, you know, through that became more opportunities, all the way to being able to run, you know, a company that I helped get in the top 10 when they were already like top 50 in the nation at the time, #1 in their state. But it is one of these things where I recycle pain. I never want to, you know, go back to where I came from. And so, yeah, without a doubt, like the only way to make it is to sell, you know, because that's where we come from. Everybody is influencing like everyone, whether you're in sales or not. And so you better get persuasion down. And you know, basic sales, you know, strategies or tactics, you know, at a very early age. And so for me, the psychology piece with the sales was more like survival skills early on. And then you couple it with what Gerbic got me on, which is the personal growth journey. And that's
Right.
what I'm speaking about here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas. We're running an event. I'm going deeper with my people, and they think it's more leads. They think it's another CRM. They think it's maybe a new knockoff model that's coming right behind EXP. But what got me here today is the work I put in 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And you know, I'm, even if you're hearing me speak, it's me versus me. And Bailey 2.0, I'm having to upgrade my operating systems. Look, I got new 15, I got new Mac, and it's like I got hacked and shut down, but we're still making it. And that's the difference between just being average or good versus great and excellence. Like you got to show up every single day. And so I started selling insurance at, you know, 22 years old. I worked at MCI, selling local and long distance back in the days. And so you know, I was rolling around in an '89 Buick selling insurance with buying my clothes at the Salvation Army. You know what I mean, to get going at 22. So I've been self-employed since I was 22 in a 1099 fashion.
And such a grinder, man. And so funny you bring up MCI and long distance. So Marty and I got acquainted and became partners, and he was a mentor to me and has been since. As our first network marketing company, Excel Telecommunications, if you remember that,
Right?
Right. So,
Right.
So talk us through. You went on to real estate. You built this great team, right? You helped grow this.
You know, when you talk about team, let's say we, because it wasn't just me. You know, I could have been the heartbeat. I could have been like the center of the butterfly to get the effect going, but you know, that's that team. This isn't wrestling, you know what I mean? And so And it's like, being able to play that role, stay a student, figure out what's coming next. But also, what does Will Smith say? It's like you and I get on that trampoline at the same time. I guarantee you're getting off first. Like, so we just put in that Midwest work ethic from Wichita, Kansas. Our average sales price when I started selling was 120,000. So when you talk about, like that grind, it's like we had to create a basically like a assembly line real estate processing mill to put out the volume to have the lifestyle that we wanted. And so it took a village to put that together. And what I'm looking at, and not looking at, what we're doing now is taking that same system and implanting it on the road with other leaders. And now we're scaling the truth through these other leaders, and it's really influencing influencers and leading leaders at the highest level. And so hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. And I have to say, looking at your slides from Cabo, and I looked at how you are systems oriented, not just a guy, but like you said, your team is systems oriented, and
Right.
you track so many KPIs, right? And then you were also
Right.
saying, what was it? Key people influencers? Is that what you coined KPI as?
Basically, it's influencers influencing influencers.
Right. And
That is not a script. When you get there, you can really move a Adam Bailey, you can move a Mike Gerbic, you can move a Tierney Jordan, you can move a Michelle Wilson, you can move a Blake Corey. Hell, it's like that's what it is. Like somebody got Jay Kinder, Albie did, right? Like you start to influence the influencers, and that takes time. But first you got to be able to sell a house.
Exactly. So take us back to that decision you made to come join EXP Realty. Right. How
Right.
long did it take you to make that decision? How many times did you look at it? How many people pestered you to look at it? Right.
It's an interesting situation. Gerbic had retired, and me and a couple other people owned an equity piece, and we were humming right along. And we had looked at EXP not because anybody brought it to us, but we were attempting to solve expansion issues, all right? And we could only open one brick and mortar every single year, the broker generating the leads. We built a call center, so we tied it back to Wichita. The quality with the brand promise that had to be delivered, the scale of marketing and the operation systems and the transactions department, and then the listing department on the back end of that. And so it's a legit operation business on the brokerage side as well. So it was like we were going to have to franchise tag, bring in other partners, and it was like I was on the road, and I was running the coaching company, and Gerbic was kind of winding down, or and so winding into retirement. An investor guy didn't see the vision with EXP because I said no to it for a year and a half before the light bulb went off, and I was looking at it all wrong because we are already profiting right around or right under $1 million, but two of us weren't working in the field. That's not with our numbers, and so it was interesting. The coaching company was doing well. And then when I, finally seen it, and I got it from the business solution tool inside of enterprise, which nobody talks about really, but if, that resonates with me, but different things resonate with different people. Keep that in mind too. Right. And so it went off, and then at that time, a few of my other partners didn't want to move, and so I bought myself out of that equity piece. And so it's like, yeah, I had it, but it cost me money, but I got a lot of experience out of it, and then I rebuilt from experience. And so we had 90 agents over 8 years that I was there. And I had 90 agents in 90 days. Granted, the money wasn't the same. And I know the $52 to up over, 1,000 and, whatever rev share, but it's dropped down for sure, for where we're at, because setbacks happen to all of us. So that's why it's beautiful right now. And I'm getting back on the road because there's a lot of counterfeit and chatter out here. And it's like we can all go back and get it. And so it's like we're all getting punched in the mouth, and everybody has a game plan until you get punched in the nose, as Tyson says.
Yep, exactly. It's interesting to hear you tell your story. And now we have been seeing a lot of really big other independents coming and joining EXP, not just here in the US, but now also in Canada, right? And I think that a lot
we have a team of 50 about to launch. Like actually should be almost done with onboarding or halfway through it. So without a doubt, like I'm taking a huge hit right now, but that huge hit is what I prayed for before. You know what I mean? And so I'm still blessed. And so it was like there for the last 5 or 7 years, we were playing real estate video games, refresh. Like I never seen anything like it. Now, and what I say is we went wide, and now it's time to do the real work and go deep and grow our roots here, not look for a better model. Not, it's like we really got to solve problems. The obstacle is the path to success. Most people just don't want to take, you know, the time to go through the obstacle. They try to find a shorter path.
Yeah, you know, and I think this is the time where we see the biggest growth. You know, EXP was born out of the Great Recession, right? The crash of 08,
Right.
09.
That's when I made my name, and I keep calling this separation season, not because we're in winter. We're gonna know who was BSing and fluffing this whole time versus really driving revenue and keeping the main thing the main thing. I was just up in Toronto, Canada, running events up there, not pitching EXP, straight education, how we're driving revenue and closing houses. Right, the speed to lead per se about EXP, that's already happened, and with the competition. But Jason, you're sharp. Put you anywhere, any other brokerage, you're going to win. Right, this is just the best place for us to grow our roots, and we were going so wide that we didn't have to go deep yet, and now we're having to do the real hard work that makes us great. Right, and that will force out the other hobbyists that's trying to make career money and so on and so forth. And so that separation season is going to be tough for a while, and we've been in it, and it's really my first effect. But I had a lot of personal things happen, you know, this year as well, and so you know, being back present and moving off purpose and being very intentional, even with other stuff going on around me that is stormy, is really what makes you great and me. And so the execution piece internationally is what I'm focused on. That's why when I was interested, you know, and you overhearing me talk when people were asking me if I was a baseball player or whatever that night, and you're like, I know who that guy is. And it's like, come here. I was telling my girlfriend that when I'm like, I got to do a podcast with that guy because I don't do a lot of these, right? And so unless it's back for our people or in the collaboration with EXP, a lot of external people calling in, and I got to stay focused. But we talked about that speech in Cabo, and that's what I've taken on the road with me to slow it down and to go deeper in it, and really build these relationships to get international. Toronto got me in other countries that I didn't know those people there. I still don't know them. And so I'm going to love to go visit them, you know, one day and understand their culture, just like Toronto is a very diversified area and a melting pot. And it was super hard to get going, but I stayed on it for 4 years. And a lot of people say, how'd you do it? I went up there and was sleeping on a couch, staying with a partner. 3 people would show up to a meeting, maybe 4. Nobody would show up. And then we kind of got it going right for COVID, and it just grabbed. Now we went up there on a whim just to get, you know, the ball rolling before the first of the year and hit the road with Bailey's back on tour, and let's get out here. And I was shocked. The room was packed, you know, wall to wall. People are starving for information. People are starving for leadership, you know, and so it's not about what they think it is. It's shiny objects. So triple your closings, right? Triple your leads. Like, yeah, we have people, we're generating some partners 1,000 leads a month, and we're doing things like that. But how you're going to convert more business is developing yourself into the person that it's going to take to educate these people, not sell them, but educate them through the process to have a collaborative agreement for a close. You know what I mean? And so you already hitting on that international piece in your network marketing background. You fascinate me, man. And so I got a lot to learn from you, and hopefully I get to spend some time with you. We're going to start bartering a little bit. So this was the first free piece for you, because I know you have a lot to teach me.
Hey, well, I do want to say this, Adam, you obviously get that it's global, right? And I think that a lot of people, I've realized a lot of people at EXP are starting to wake up to that. But for 2 years, really,
let them sleep. Let them sleep, Jason. Let them sleep.
I know. So, by the way, before I forget, we get on to something else. I know you probably have some NRI agents in Canada up in Toronto. Those are non-resident Indians. Okay. And we need to connect on that because
a lot of them.
I got a call yesterday that with Shashank, who runs EXP Realty India. We have an exclusive on an amazing project up there. We got 5% when they're paying 3% to the market. And we have a 6-month exclusive on this in Northern India, right? So I'll make sure I get you all the deets on that, right? But that's something we need to collaborate, get those agents being able to do cross-border transactions. But
Yeah, we have people there for sure, and that is the kind of the next play that I'm looking at. And so I even told my girlfriend we should travel out there, just kind of look around, shake some hands, and it's interesting. Every place is a little bit interesting, and so the nuances to that, I would love to be a part of that.
absolutely. So, you've already spoke a little bit of the future, and I've had people, since you're bringing up the idea about some other copycat models and companies trying to make moves and things like that. I've had a few people say things to me, and I go, listen, our focus as an organization, when Marty and I and the council formed the Legends International team, the focus was global. And the biggest growth of every single network marketing company is always the global expansion, right? And so we always came in with a long play, right? This was not a short-term play. This was the long play, right? And we knew that over time, that by having the background, like Marty and Cheryl, his wife, they have an organization of hundreds of thousands of distributors and a health and wellness network marketing company, right? So the blueprint is already there, right? And one of our partners, Sean, helped grow that through China, right? So we know that through the couple of different companies. Now, talk about, and I always say to all these other people that have pitched me this, that, talk to me, have you looked at that? Have you looked at this? I said, listen, there's no other company that has got the financial resources and the footprint to continue a global expansion like EXP.
Look, everybody, look, is lost their mind and forgot about Verbellum. I did not come for Verbellum, and yeah, having to log in the cloud and so on and so forth, like it was frustrating and still is. Not as much today to get people acclimated to that, but that one reason alone, not because we own the asset now, EXPI, is because I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'd have to look, but I think it was 7 countries or 5 that I had, a dollar bill or some closing come off of, right? Like where no broker management, no liability, nothing. Like, give me a break. You can say that we're just like EXP or we're a cloud-based brokerage, but Glenna's already grew through that, and the company that owned that before already grew through that, and then financially he's already figured out this sustainable model, and there's a few more pieces coming, I think, that just got agreed upon or voted on in the alpha group this week. Due to travel, and holidays, I have to get in there and look, but it's like Verbellum. That is it. That's what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like it's like your brokers are in there. It's like the agents can go in there and be transactional with them, and your money just spits out the back end. And Enterprise, the business solution tool. So the business solution tool with accounting, because there's one thing you can't mess up with any salespeople, is not paying them on time. That's the quickest way to lose them, right? And so the money is always there. The money is always transparent. A little bit in the beginning, maybe 5 years ago, but when brokers being replaced and tech was growing, yeah, maybe, but I get paid same time, same way every day, and I don't feel like there's any funny business going on. And the cloud is what it is, but we're moving into an avatar, world, and if you will, and it's like you could call it whatever you wanted to call it back in the days, but it's legit. We live in a digital world right now, and that's just what our kids. I'm 42. I got a 9-year-old. That's all he grew up with. They think they're going to live in the Truman Show with this stuff.
What's really cool is I can't wait for you to learn more about Frame, the new Verbella platform, right?
I've been playing around with Frame for 2 years.
Yeah, but you maybe don't know what I saw with the head developer with that. So I was standing in.
I haven't logged in about 10 months. 10 months, I haven't seen it.
I was in his Frame, okay, and we were standing there, and I was showing him some new construction tech stack that I put together so we can get developers from around the world. Okay, we have an exclusive on a deal in Rio de Janeiro, so I was kind of showing him some stuff and what I wanted to do with Frame.
Right.
And he from like pushed one simple button and turned the whole environment to the Google Street View out in front of his house. And our avatars were standing there, and we could turn around like we were there physically on the Google Street View. And he's like,
"Oh, really? Oh, that is sick right there."
Yeah. So, so we're talking about the future, right? So, the ability to have somebody in a metaverse environment, Frame, for example, which everything from the Verbella platform today will go to exp.world. Okay, that's all migrating there in 2024. But the ability to put 3D model developments inside of an expo hall, being able to take people to a desk where you could sit down and put up on the presentation wall the contract, have them click it from their own device, open a contract on their device, right, and sell them a new development property somewhere else in the world. The ability
Get
to
me.
pull,
Get me on that.
whole
And we're
environment
talking about frame.io or
yeah. So
yeah.
if you go
Yeah.
today to exp.world, okay,
Yeah.
you will enter the new EXP world. Okay, it's on the
Yeah,
Frame
yeah.
platform, right? And it's this is why I'm so excited about this, is because the ability that you could be sitting in Pune, India, and you could sell a project, a new construction project somewhere else in the world, right?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. I was this excited about Frame 2 years ago, and I was hoping that they would have been able to take on Zoom and Discord all in one, and then they upped it to a whole nother level with what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, and the ability of being able to take a 3D Matterport and you can export that, import it into Frame. So now your avatar can walk through that 3D Matterport. That's
In the house?
yes. That's
Oh
all
my,
doable,
dude,
right?
send me that link today. I
Okay.
want.
So I'm working on an example project on that right now with them. It's so cool. We're recording this so people will be able to go back in the future. But so we're going to come up with a demo on that, and then once we got that demo set up, I'll take and release that out. But this is the future, right? The ability that I could hand Adam Bailey, who lives in Wichita, Kansas, and I could say, Adam, here is some exclusives that we have, new developments in Dominican Republic, in Mexico, in Brazil, right? Then the hottest places to buy in the world, right? And you could add that to your portfolio that you already have and go back to all those clients that you guys have all sold real estate to and ask them the question that they bought in the last 2 or 3 years, and they're not going to move, but you can ask them, what are you doing to hedge against inflation? Right? Did you know that you could get 20 to 30+% equity gains in under 2 years in Brazil by buying there as a foreigner? No, you didn't know that. Well, let's talk, right? And those are the things that I get excited about, right? The ability to be a global real estate agent and broker. So
yeah, the financial literacy with this is, interesting, and understanding, where the better opportunities are internationally. When I came to EXP, I was thinking very, very small. I was in a region and attempting to go national, right? And I fumbled into the international game. It's because I lucked into getting into Toronto with the guy that wanted me to coach him. I saved him 60 grand, and that's how that thing sparked. So without a doubt, this thing is it's like COVID. It grows, right? And you never know what's going to take you. I didn't say I'm going to go to Toronto and that's where it's going to be. That's where it took me, and everybody said no. So you looking at where the numbers best fit your model for what you're wanting to do with investing and stuff like that, and or purchasing single home families. That's amazing, and that's things that I would love to pick up from you as well. But my thing is I'm big with internet marketing, lead gen, conversion, and it's like and we're doing it in Toronto. We're generating leads and converting with ISAs and stuff. But it's like, how can I start generating leads for Jason and make you part of the international team with the same back office stuff as well as all these other opportunities? What are they calling that system or that vertical that you just mentioned? Is there a name for that yet?
Are you talking about new construction? Like
The new construction, being able to view the outer country listings.
Oh, okay. So like Home Hunter is probably what you're thinking of, that was that recently launched, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, what you were describing to me just a few minutes ago,
Oh,
like
okay.
what we can do in Frame and some of the other things. Like,
Yeah.
are you manually having to do a lot of that? You're building that stuff out, or is that
Yes.
okay? So
Yeah.
all right.
So
See, you guys are super smart. See?
So and I unveiled the tech stack to the team last week. Something we've been working on for like over 18 months. But one of the biggest marketing tools for global outside of the US and Canada is a company called Flow, right? They automate the meta ads for Facebook, Instagram, right? And if you understand what walled garden is for the US, right? So walled garden, it's offered in the marketing center. So Flow is basically the walled garden for global, right? So
yeah. The guy that runs that, you know, I don't know. I've been in the game 13, 14 years, and I seen him come up, you know, when he first started running Facebook ads. So I liked the way that he was going with that automation piece to that. So I definitely would love to see what you guys got going on with that. You know, you talked a lot about a lot of different things, and so did I, and we had to cut it short. Like, you know, what is your guys' one thing? You mentioned a few of your other partners that night too, but it's like you guys have built some big companies before, and it seemed like you guys are on the tech side of things. And so is that like your one thing that makes you great, and then you know, adding in other verticals, or you know, is it the relationships, or what? I mean, what is it? It's like, are you guys as great at leadership maybe?
At the end of the day, it's just, we understand that it's all about international, and it's about languages and culture, right? And my focus now is in 2024 is helping real estate agents understand how to leverage their language skills and cultural connections to close more business. That most agents are not leveraging that. And every agent that speaks a different language and has a connection to another culture lives within a tiny community of that culture in every city and every part of the world. So I look at the Indian diaspora, right? India is now the most populous country in the world. And every major city in the world has a small Indian community, right? And within that Indian community, you'll have people from, you know, the northern part, southern part, etc., right? But those are the things. And if you can tap into a leader that is part of that ethnicity group, it will grow like wildfire.
And the loyalty and the friendship is on a whole nother level. I have a big Indian group, and we all, you know, mess around and joke and have fun with each other. And it's like they're sharp in Toronto because after they get their whatever, you know, graduate from college over there, they come, I think, to Toronto to get their master's degree. And then if you're the elite of the elite, you go to Silicon Valley, right? And so these guys in Toronto we're in business with are building their own tech, CRMs, all of this stuff. And when I'm speaking, this is what it's going to take to be just an agent. Like, these guys are just getting into real estate, or maybe even been in a couple years, or, you know, there's a mix of them, right? And I'm like, you guys just wait until you guys get going. And so I agree with you with that for sure. And so that right there, and that hub right there is like what got me into India and a few other countries. And so I think you're onto something for sure, you know, with that. And they get the tech piece. And so are you guys, you know, the sales stuff, let me just tell you, when I went up there, you talk about the language, and it's like, you know, I graduated you know, North High and whatever public school, lived in the hood, you know, and it's like I'm not the best speaker. I'm not probably the best. I'm not the best grammar person, but I'm not trying to be English teacher neither. Here's what people do understand, even when I'm up in Canada: your heart, your passion, your vibration, and that same vibration you put out into the world is the vibration that you're getting back, you know. And so when I first went up there, I can understand, you know, Indians a little better now, without a doubt. But before I couldn't. And I'm like, I speak fast and from the Midwest. They're probably couldn't understand me. But now I can. But they all love me and I love them. But it's like just good energy people. But there's good people, bad people, right? But
Exactly.
energy attracts energy. And so with the international game, you might not understand culturally how they are, but you damn sure got to figure it out so you're not disrespectful. You know what I mean? And get in alignment with that. But you know when it's good energy. You know why you really connected with me, not from the video or all of the content that I just dropped real quick. It was that night that we actually got to make a connection. And so if you make that connection, I had good energy and I spent time with you, you know, even though it was like 3 a.m. or whatever. You spent time with me.
Yep.
Everybody wants to, but then I figured out you were sharp too, and I was like asking you questions, and we had to cut it off. And I just knew you had good energy, right? And so
Thanks,
that's
brother.
that's what I tell people. They're like, "Well, I don't know a language, or I don't know anything." Well, go over there and learn their culture. Like, hang out with them, talk to them, and put off good energy, and that's what you'll get back. And I think that's where the international game is. It's like people are saying, "Wow, you're kind of ahead of the pack," or "You're doing great for your age," or whatever. Like you said in the beginning, I feel like I'm behind because the next blue ocean is this international game. It's like I'm down here in Wichita growing my roots, but and in all my other markets too. But I'm more excited about the international game, figuring out the banking system, figuring out regulations, laws, the tech stack that it's going to be needed, the other sharp people that I could collaborate with and triangulate with that would be my competition in, let's just say, old franchise model. Like you would be my competition. I don't view you as competition. I view you as a friend that could bring some intellectual knowledge into my life, and I can learn from it.
So I do want to end this segment here, and then we'll just jump to the third segment of today's call due to your time constraints, because I do want to talk about how you grew your team. But if you get for the end of this,
how we grew our
how
team.
we grew, that's right. How we grew. You're right.
That right there is the language that you have to use.
Yes. How we. Yes.
We.
So if you have somebody who's either on the call today or seeing this recording in the future, and they're thinking about joining EXP, right?
Right.
What would your one comment to them be?
My question is, are they a new agent, or are they a seasoned agent, or an owner?
So
because I speak to them differently, all three of them.
Okay, so let's talk with somebody who's like similar to your background, right? Because I have an independent brokerage I've been working with in Spain, right?
Yeah.
And so if they were looking at this, right? And so people like those that are running those types of businesses are not going to make a quick move typically, right? They're going to plan that move, right? So what would your advice be to them?
The cash conversion cycle, or joining or partnering cash conversion cycle, is about a year and a half. I mean, the 50-man group will probably get 40 of the agents out of the Seattle area. Shout out to Chris Sims that made that connection. They're coming in on my second level. He also introduced me to Michelle Wilson, that's got 600 agents throughout North America with us. And so the number one thing that I would say to somebody in that situation is, give me 1% of your trust. I'll earn the other 99%. And I promise you, I'm not going to ask for anything in return, because the number one principle is the law of reciprocity with me. I live in my personal life, and it permeates throughout my business. Okay. However, I am going to ask you for one thing, and that is to keep an open mind, that as you see that I can bring more value into your life, because this isn't about real estate. We're doing life together. It's bigger than real estate and transactions and all that stuff, that you're open-minded to ramping into a partner with me. Can I count on you for that commitment, to keep an open mind? And I will give you anything that I got, all of my lessons, so on and so forth. Most people say yes. And then I will help them, and I don't coach for dollars anymore. I want depth to my relationships. I don't want to be burning through contracts. So at a much larger game than we're playing, like with a Jason and Adam Bailey, it's like they got to sharpen their pen, and they're going to say no. Ego is a hell of a thing. Profitability is probably not there, like it should be. And so being able to get in this international game to offset numbers, own other ancillary companies along with that, right, that are profitable, is what it's all about. And so being able to get that promise, to give the 1%, and to keep an open mind, and it could not just change your life, it could change all of the other people's life that you're in business for and leading as well. And that's what I would tell them, because it cost me about a year and a half where I didn't have an open mind until I had to risk everything I had. And it cost me a lot, and so on and so forth. And so I wish that somebody would have been able to articulate things differently to me in a different manner. However, I wasn't receptive because of my ego, my pride, my blind spots, all of that stuff. But that's my own inner work that I had to do on myself with personal development. And that's why I'm having another growth spurt right now. And but you also got to be able to put your money where your mouth is. And it's like, if you get those commitments, I'll give you everything I got, because I know you're coming at some point in time.
You know, and I think the quote that I use a lot really encapsulates everything you just said, and that is, you must first provide value before you become valuable, right? And you lead with value. Everything I've seen you do, Adam, is that you lead with value. And if you keep doing that long enough, people, that attracts the right people to you, right? And it's huge. So let's do this. Let's end that segment there. I just want to pull open my slides real quick and just have you speak to that, and then we'll let you get off here because I know you got to run.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump forward to.
Yeah, the thing in life is when we put expectations on people, you know, and so it's like, if you're following up or, you know, building a relationship out of pure selfishness, you know, when that person don't do what you think they should do on your time frame or off the effort you put in, you're going to get let down 90% of the time. And so you just hit the nail on the head. Tierney Jordan has 500 or 600 people. I mean, I had to look down here in Dallas, and she says that all the time, Jason. She says you have to make a deposit, multiple ones, into their bank account of life before you can ever make a withdrawal. Have you ever been able to go to the bank and just say, I want to pull out some money today? They're like, you don't have an account here. No, it's like you, yeah. So that's a pretty big withdrawal to ask, you know, Adam, a Gerbic, you know, a Jason, somebody at our level, if that's what we're speaking about, to give you that cash back. You know what I mean? And so, because it's going to cost them something, and it's like you have to take one step out backwards to take two steps forward. And a lot of people sell pleasure instead of pain. And so you have to be able to ask tough questions and stay on that. But you also got to know the operational side of the business and a P&L and the structure of that to understand when they're lying or bluffing, or call them out on it. Because when I get to spend time with them, they start BSing me a little bit. And I'm like, look, man, it's okay. We're here to solve problems and remove linchpins, or, you know, help you remove that rock from your shoe so you can run faster. And once they trust you, then they're going to start being honest with you. Then you can start making offers and suggestions that are those deposits. And they already know down the road, like, it's like, man, I got some more victories because of you. You help me cut costs. You help me make a little more money over here. You help me cut, you know, some dead weight. You help me make a good hire or another system, right? They're going to know you're earning your other 99% with all of those deposits. And then that 1%, you're going to make a big withdrawal. You know what I mean? So that's about as well as I could articulate what you're saying to tie it into what you're saying. And that's exactly what my partner says here in Dallas. That's probably why both of you guys are winning.
So how you all built this organization, right?
Yeah.
Right. Over 2,400. It's probably bigger than that now, because this was in Cabo, right?
No, we're probably about 2,350 right now. I mean,
Okay.
I'm holding tight, but we've took a, hit just like everybody else, and so I've maintained since Cabo, but also I'm just getting back to work. And so what business can you take off really and it maintains, and yeah, the income dropped a little bit in there in that arena, but it's we got to get through one more winter. We got to get through the election here in the US, but setbacks are they happen for us to get back and go get it again. It's not about like how far we fall, it's how high we bounce back up. And I know it's like all the pain and me recycling stuff and the energy that I'm putting out, and I'm solving new problems and getting over these new obstacles to have a future that is expansion and really exploding and expanding through that geometric growth internationally. And I don't think anyone really has that figured out. I think you guys are leading the way. A handful of other people are, and I'm just thankful to start to get my foot in the door with it.
Well, thank you for that, Adam. And I'm looking forward to working with you and collaborating with you on many different things. I do want to point out this picture here for those of you who don't know Adam. He was one of the agents that was invited to come to NASDAQ here this last year. And when Glenn rang the bell again, and he got a chance to stand right next to that NASDAQ desk as they were taking the pictures and everything. So this is that great slide that I pulled from your slides, right? From going from $52 to $100,000 in 36 months, man. That's insanely cool that you all were able to create that as an organization, right?
Yeah. And it's humbling. That picture is when I was down here in Dallas as well, like 3 years ago or something like that, and to be able to, go in January to NASDAQ coming from where I came from, it was so humbling. But I went back home to my house being broke into. And then my house getting broke into again 6 months later. And then, my dad passed away a couple of weeks, and at the end of January because COVID. And there's a bunch of other stuff. And so the thing is that sometimes you got to take time off and you got to be able to, take care of your personal stuff and keep your business going. But I will tell you, I'm very thankful for EXP, and I want to say thank you to all my leaders and anybody part of Top Agent Experts or anyone that's supported all of us. And my leaders know who they are, and it's like I'm just thankful to be working for them. All of the people that's building this. And so everything's taking a hit, but it's okay. It's separation season. And, I made my name in a down market. And so when things start to turn around again, if you discipline yourself now, instead of waiting for the world to discipline you, the universe or economic wins through the government or whatever, when things turn around, you're going to be able to outgrow the market, and the discipline and the habits are there for you to explode like Adam Bailey. The next Adam Bailey's probably on this call, if you got the years or whatever. I didn't have the experience or, the money or any of that stuff to create leverage. But what I did have is one hell of a work ethic. What I did have is a good tongue to be able to negotiate, because you're only going to be as good as you can negotiate. However, when it came to marketing, I had to figure that stuff out. And leadership, I'm just stepping into that realm. And so putting all of those pieces together and consistently executing on that when the return isn't there, or you see small incremental improvements, that's how you're going to show up and win big one day. Because all of the work that I did when no one was looking is what's paying off today. All the money that I should have been making back then has been coming now. And I forget who said this quote, but some days, or for whatever length of period of time you think it is, that you're putting into something but not getting that in return, eventually you'll be paid more than what you're putting into something. And I feel like that's like where I'm at right now. And it's like I wake up and it's like, man, I got to be the best version of myself, because all of these people are counting on me, their kids, their wives, the people that I made promises to. And so I have to get better. I quit drinking 2 years ago, and had to cut certain people out of my life, because that was a linchpin for me. That's what I said in Cabo, to get my fire burning hot again, not red hot, but white hot. And I don't know what you have to do to get your fire burning. I don't know what that is, but for me, I had to quit drinking. I had to upgrade to 2.0. I had to do a few other things, and I'm going through a lot of pain right now. But that's why it's called a breakthrough, because it has to break you before you have that breakthrough to the next level. You know what I mean? And so I'm looking forward to it.
So I do want to show this one more thing, because I want to personally thank you for this. And that was this referral, this list of companies that provides commissions for a referral, right? But you posted it in the slide deck as an image, so I had to use OCR to pull it out, because I didn't know you at that time, But I do want to say thank you for that. I put it together for my team. They can click on it. It opens a Google document. I went and researched every single one of your links and made it for my team. And I just want to thank you for that. That's a huge value that you gave to the company, Adam, that your team gave to the company. So I do.
Yeah, I don't know where this came. Yeah, I don't know if one of our guys created this or we mixed and matched it from somebody else. I mean, so I appreciate that, but I don't know if I can take credit for it 100%. That's just what's in our drive file. But, we repurpose a lot of things. And so staying a student of the game like you are, and then repurposing it, repackaging it for your team, that's what it's all about, not trying to go reinvent the wheel. So I love that. And a lot of people think that they got to be a coaching company. No, you're not a publishing company. A lot of people think I coach and I'm a trainer or a motivational speaker. It's like, no, I'm in real estate and a real estate agent. I have to train and coach my own people. This is what I have to do to stay competitive. And I love this piece of repackaging. It's not research and develop, it's, rip off and duplicate, like, just
Like
repackage it for
Jay Kinder always says that.
yeah,
R&D, rip off and duplicate.
right. So I love it. So thank you for that though.
So I know you got to go here, but if I want to give maybe someone a chance to ask a question, I know Marty's been just dying over there. So Marty, well, you got a question for Adam?
Yeah, Adam, I'm just so thankful that you're taking the time through all the adversity and all the things going on in your world that you made this a priority to be on with us. So thank you and thank you and thank you. One of the things that we're always talking about too is how can we get the newer person, if you don't mind sharing your pearls of wisdom on this, how can we get the newer person that's doing 3 or 4 transactions? And if you could just give a couple pieces of advice on how they're doing 2 or 3 transactions to how to get them to be a capping agent as a first big step, where they're doing anywhere from 10 to 12. So they're basically tripling their production as a newer person. What are the 2 or 3 things you would have them doing?
Yeah. That's a great question. We've talked about a lot of different things. However, studying sales, getting really good at persuasion and getting back to the basics and the fundamentals of sales, not getting away from marketing. Everybody wants to post, and everybody thinks we're the world or even real estate, but we run sales teams, and real estate is just a byproduct of, what we're selling. And so, tracking your KPIs, like what Jason had mentioned, and understanding your behavior and your current skill set. Like, for example, in our call center, we could close 8 to 9 or talk to 8 to 9 people to get 1 qualified appointment. And it isn't whether you thought, we call it a valid conversation. It isn't whether you thought it went well or not. It's how to track your if your marketing is good or not. Did the name match the telephone number, right? Whether they hung up on you because your intro was off, right? And so being able to scale that number, some people, when they come with us, are 50 to 1, but we start there. And then there's about 15 other metrics that you build out around that. And then your pipeline becomes predictable as long as you can feed the top of the funnel, whether it's raw data, cold calling, or internet leads, or more bottom of the funnel internet leads that's feeding your top of the funnel. But understanding all of those key performance indicators is really what KPI means, to have an output. Because if you put enough energy into something, something's going to come out of it, right? And so if there's a constraint or a bottleneck where you're not moving on to the next KPI because this is about doing the right things in the right order, that's where mentorship comes in handy, or great sales training to help you get there. Vern, with Brent Gove, we just watched the live stream and our group, and Vern said it best. It's like, the KPIs are still there. We just have to make 100 more calls, or it might have been X amount of more contacts. I got to go back and rewatch it. I was, watching it, while I was packing and stuff. But that's what I've been telling my people. And then, are you willing to pay that cost? It's like, well, we got to call more people. We got to talk to more people. But we're not just going through autopilot and servicing people as order takers. Now we're having to influence people off education and deliver data to them that they don't like, right? And might not disagree with you. However, if you're presenting data to them, once you actually get in front of these people and they can visually see it, and I can get into that later, then there's a collaborative close, because people will argue with you, right? Or think you just need to sell them, or you just want to take the listing at your price and make a fast commission. However, if you can visually and easily get them to digest that in bite-sized digestible pieces and get them to explain or tell you what they see, they're not going to argue with their own voice or their own data in their head, right? And so it's being able to deliver bad news but still stay likable and in rapport where they do business with you, and or if they're not going to do business with you, be able to walk away from that business, even though it's tough right now and it's like, I need to put food on the table, I need another deal. And so when you're saying yes to that, you're saying no to the people that really want to list and have to move, not just want to or like to or whatever. But if you walk away from that and you articulate to them what they're going to experience, if the next agent doesn't demonstrate leadership and they don't do this, and then they experience it one or two times with another agent, they're going to call you back, and it's going to be easy if you're willing to walk away. And it's like, when somebody, can't have something, or is there scarcity built around it, then it's like, or an expert, like, wow, everybody else is, cold calling me, or telling me they got all these buyers in their database and all that baloney, right? And so study the market 15 minutes a day, put in the calls, and we have tracking sheets that I can get to Jason. I can give you all these metrics and start documenting all your behaviors. And it's like, it's not micromanagement or anything like that. I did it for myself. That's how I was able to build a call center. I used to listen to the recordings at night. I hated going back and listening to myself talk at night. But I then would understand they were saying this, but really meant that, because I was a deer caught in headlights as a 28-year-old on the phone, and just learning all the nuances of real estate. And I thought that I was gonna get business off pleasantries and them liking me. And yeah, people do business with people they like, trust, and know, but you have to begin with the end in mind. And so we have a structure of a call that we put together with the intro, the offer, the pivot to we'll just say the home hunter alerts with the value, and the unique value propositions and how to position them, like our worry-free listing program, love it or leave it guarantee, our home buyer advantage program that's stacked, and then the optimized closing formula. And this is what I'm going to leave you guys with, and I got to go. I'm going to give you the closing formula. Can't use the closing on everyone. You just got to know when they're ready to use it. So just grab a pen and a piece of paper, guys, real quick. One of the things that I specialize in is draw a line. Anyways, thanks for being on the phone with me for a few minutes. If I can show you how to draw another big line, would that be worth a few minutes of your time to see how this can work for you and your family? Now, you have to use this ethically, because the specialization part, right? And so when I talk about pleasure and pain, people move to avoid pain or resolve pain 70% of the time, versus purchasing or moving because of pleasure or opportunity, or whatever it may be, right? And so a lot of people sell pleasure. You need to sell pain, or sell solutions to their pain, and being able to answer and ask, acknowledge and ask through asking good questions, right? But writing them down. And what I mean by that is everybody takes notes and writes it down, or they're typing in their CRM, but they don't repackage it to make an offer to them with the value propositions and or what they're looking for. Here's what I mean by that. If you go to Google and you type in a keyword that you're looking for, you want to see it, on the ad. You want to see it on the headline on the landing page, and maybe throughout the landing page on a link or something, right? If not, you hit backclick, right? And so when I say people do business with people that sound like them, they trust, and all that stuff, this is the same way. And so you want to use their natural language against them, and people want to work with people they specialize in. One of the things that I specialize in is working, with a bald guy from over in India on podcasts. Anyways, if I could show you how to close more homes, be more profitable, would that be worth a few minutes of your time today on this podcast? You see how I just used it like this? A multi-million-dollar copywriting guy taught me this early when I was selling insurance to be able to write scripts. And this one paragraph changed my life, but it's so hard to master. Now I'll tell you what should go in both of these lines that you drew. One of the things I specialize is in, you have to identify with them. I identify with Jason being bald, or like whatever. Like, their pain and pleasure has to go there with the key words, their natural language that they were using. Anyways, if I could show you how to, this needs to be the net solution that they experience if they take action towards you, right? And so your keywords and so on and so forth, if they've been honest with you, and you can get in a closing situation with the quad scripting, there should only be 4 outcomes with this. Setting up the home hunter alerts, a buyer consultation, listing appointment, or a pre-qualification, but I'll get into that. And don't use industry sticky words. For example, one of the things that we specializes in is helping people with low credit scores or debt to income issues. If I could honestly show you how to, boost your credit score, would that be worth a few minutes of your time to see how this could work for you and your family, right? And so, or let you know your credit score for free in a matter of minutes because it's going to affect your affordability or buying power, right? And so those little value propositions, I didn't say get pre-approved, pre-qualified. I just asked them right off the bat when I get through our structure of call. There's branches inside of it that I don't believe in scripts. I believe in structure and dialect. The intros do have to be word for word, and then you pivot to the value, because most people is going to say, I'm just looking, not in the market to buy a home. The website force registered me, whatever. You have to tie an anchor around that, say fantastic, perfect, so on and so forth, to get to the closing paragraph. This is what you use at the end, what I gave you, right? And when you have notes written down, one of the things I specializes in is resolving your pain, enhancing your pleasure, and figure out the keywords that they use. Anyways, I appreciate your guys' time today. If I could show you how to use the closing formula that's going to help you guys make more money, would that be worth a few minutes of your time? You just see how I use it in many different ways. I use it in insurance. You can use it in many different ways. Just use it ethically. Like, one of the things I specialize in is VA loans or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like always tailored back to what they're looking to achieve, what they're looking to net, what mountain they're trying to move, all of that stuff. And so if you use it at the right time and you're in rapport and you're using these keywords, they're going to take you up on your offer if they really truly believe you. Like Jason gave me an opportunity to come speak today because he must really truly believe me. So I appreciate it, Jason. I appreciate everyone's time today, but I'm going to sign off unless you guys got anything else for me.
No, I appreciate it. You basically gave a master class in about 30 minutes. And you went through so
Best
much
call ever.
information. You went through so much information. And Adam, I would love to book some time with you at another time when we could go through some things, and maybe we just structure it so you can just give off some nuggets, some small trainings or something like that. Would love to do that. And if I can do anything to bring value to you and your organization, we are all here to help as well.
Yeah, man. If not maybe, without a doubt. So this the step in.
Yeah, you're breaking up there, Adam. Yeah, but we do appreciate you coming on the call, and I'll be in Omaha this summer, so we got to figure out a way to see each other when we're only a few hours apart as well.
All right, man, hit me up. Let's do it.
Okay. I hope
Thank you,
everything
Adam.
else resolved.
Blessings to you, brother.
Yep.
Hope everything goes well and getting your stuff taken care of. I know that you'll find a way because you are a doer.
I literally just got my eSIM card back. I can't get on my Mac, can't get on my iPad. This phone just came back live. My other two phones are shut down. When you're winning, people are going to take shots at you. You have to be able to take people's shots. However, you got to remain a good person. You got to remain a servant leader, and don't let it rattle you. Okay. This is why we win. Good people win. Whether I got my slides tomorrow or whatever, my people are going to rock, and I'll get up there without no slides, no internet, nothing, because I'm already here and I'm here with the people, and we're in the people business, and that's what matters. And so I appreciate those kind words. And, it's, people say, oh, it's luck. No, it's when preparation and opportunity meet, and I'm prepared. I don't need technology. We are EXP. Go get them, guys. Later.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing,
you, Adam.
Adam.
Thank you,
All
Adam.
right.
Awesome.
Go do
What
it.
awesome content. Break a leg tomorrow, brother. Break a leg.
Hey, okay. Later, guys.
Right.
Amazing.
Awesome content.
Wow.
So probably the most packed hour that we've done ever, if not, for a long time, if not ever, right? So
Exactly.
I mean, just amazing.
Rewatching this one.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and rewatch it, And we were talking about all the teams that keep coming. Here's another new one, the Nellis Group. Listen to this: 40 years in the business, and they have a team of 25, and they moved the whole team over. And it's after 10 years of being a franchise owner at Keller Williams, right? They were doing 200 transactions, over 100 million a year in sales value, right? And he just talked about it took a long time for them to make the move, but revenue share is more compelling than profit share since it cannot be diminished by general office expenses, remodeling, or long expenditures. And you can read more about this by going to EXP Life, also clicking on the link here. But I think it's just another demonstration, just like Adam, moving a profitable, successful team to EXP. It just makes sense. And the big part is that this guy also talks about that the business started, over 40 years ago with his mom getting the business started, and then it transitioned, and now everybody can be equity partners, though. I mean, that's the huge part about EXP. Glenn Sanford's expansion podcast drops every Tuesday. Last Tuesday, he interviewed Joe Simonte, a 5-time icon from Olympia, Washington. Make sure you get subscribed to Glenn's podcast so that you're getting to not only hear from Glenn himself, but some of our best agents in the company. Also, speaking of podcasts, if you haven't had a chance to listen to this, Mike Del Prete, who was one of our keynote speakers and is one of the foremost experts on the real estate data in the United States, they had a chance to talk here this last week on Mike's podcast called Context. And I found it to be very informative. There was some great insight that I heard Glenn share that I had never heard him share before. So make sure you check this out. You can click on the link or look it up on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Look for Mike Del Prete's Context podcast. I was finishing up the International Monthly Update last night, listening to the recording, some great information on everything that's happening with the company globally and where we're going. And matter of fact, I'm going to go back and rewatch the last quarter of it again because it was so good. You can click on the link here in the recording, in the slides, and you'll be able to get access to the recording as well. Starting this month for the first time, and they're going to be doing it every month going forward, is that they're going to highlight the top 10 producers in each U.S. state. And as Brian Gullickson and I were talking here yesterday with Brett Moreno about a top performing team in Alabama. Matter of fact, they're ranked number 2. So we're forming a collaboration between them and Brent and doing some marketing stuff where everybody's going to win. Right. And I looked them up and they're number 2 in the state of Alabama, and they're right in Brent's backyard. They're in Orange Beach and Gulf Shores. So excited to continue to see what other teams are making moves each and every month. Congratulations, Parm, who is one of our managing brokers for Calgary, reaching 1,200 agents just in the province of Alberta, Canada alone. So congratulations, everyone there at EXP Canada and everyone in Alberta for all your great efforts. Keep up the great work. Speaking of over 1,000, EXP Luxury now over 1,100 members worldwide, as we're only open officially with the luxury program in just a few countries so far. We recently launched into Puerto Rico. So now the United States, Canada, Puerto Rico, and many other countries coming in 2024. Click on the link to learn more of what countries are coming next with EXP Luxury. And I was looking at this slide here today. The Brandstorm says, "'Tis the season." I'm thinking Marty needs this EXP Realty ugly sweater for Christmas. I think it would look great on him in front of the tree. And Amy, you need a pair of those socks to go along with it right there to keep warm in Minnesota, right? While you're visiting from Florida. But Expert Care Desk, make sure that if you don't have this information down, that you take it down and use this because it is very, very helpful. Available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Make sure if you're a new agent onboarding with our team that you take advantage of the national training program that's happening every Tuesday and every Thursday live, where you can ask your questions live. So you can get moving forward and all the training you need to do. And over 10,000 people have gone through these programs already. Make sure also you're getting booked for Kickstart Your Business with Susan McLean if you're new at EXP or you're a new agent. This is a great way to go through a scaffolded program that's 12 sessions being run by a 20-year industry veteran. Now, I think she is head of growth and retention for EXP Realty as well. Here is just a snapshot of some of the training that's happening this week. I also wanted to point out the last one here. It says level up, landing big names on your podcast, strategic networking that boosts your personal brand. What do you think we did today, right? So that actually is being run by Holly Kitchens in EXP World. Take advantage of the hundreds of hours of training that you have available to you each and every week. Hey, if you have not signed up yet for the Global Marketing Agent Program, you're definitely going to want to do this, especially what I have to show you next. But get in there, get signed up, and there's not only new revamped training and tools, but there's ongoing coaching and training that's going on. And I've got some special stuff that I've got prepared that I will be launching here shortly, and I'm going to share it with you and teach you how I'm doing these things. So I also, for those of you who are on the call today, I would like for you to vote. So this is option A, right? And the next one is option B. So there's a slight difference, right? So I'm going to go back to option A, right? And so you'll see the little icons up here at the top of the ticket, and then you can see the stars in the background better, right? So option A or option B. So vote in the chat box. Which one do you like better? Right, so let's see who the winner is here. So Amy says option A. So we're going to go back. So she likes it bright, right? Stars shining. Marty likes option A. Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Super excited. We got the Deard says option A. Thank you. The video is almost completely edited. It's going through the final edits right now. And so excited to share the final video when it's done about the Global Marketing Agent Program. But I got so much content about being a global agent that's going to be launching here with the YouTube channel, hopefully before the end of the year. That's the target right now. So Eduardo, everybody says A. Okay, so it looks like it's option A. Dave Waters, you chose option B. I know earlier today, but you've just been outvoted. So here is the reminder to get yourself registered for EXPCon 2024 in Miami. I was talking to Oscar here this morning and yesterday, and he's super excited to be hanging out with everybody. He said he's going to get a bigger yacht for sure now, and he's going to make sure that you have to earn your spot on the yacht, is what he said. So I guess we're going to figure that out. But get yourself registered so you're going to be there. That's at Miami Beach Convention Center. And that is next October 27th through the 30th. And one of Amy's favorite towns, Miami. So looking forward to being there. So that pretty much takes us through today's call, everything I have for you. It was a long call, almost an hour and a half. We haven't done one of those in a long time, but a lot of great content.
Awesome content. Thank you, Jason, for all the prep work and getting Adam on the call and not losing faith. Instead of waiting until next week, I'm glad we got her done today. As much as I have going on, I can't wait to continue to review that, because talk about just a fire hose of stuff. Woo.
Yeah, that's how his talk at Cabo was. And like, if you go and watch that talk from Cabo, he literally had like another 20 slides to go. And they cut him off, but he gave everything, right? So I have those slides and they're uploaded in my Google Drive. So I'll share them to the team here under the recording. So if you want to go look through his slides for the Cabo and how he tracks all of his KPIs, it's insane. I mean, he has everything dialed in. There's no question why he has been able, why his organization and team have been able to do what they've done.
Yeah, right? The only way to be scalable is if you can track all your systems and duplicate it.
Yep. So with that said, my friends, I think we're going to turn off the recording for this week.
Amazing call. Thank you.
Thanks, brother. Love you, man. It's good to see everyone.